Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to talk about Invisible Sun by Monte Cook Games, created by, so Invisible Sun is a very interesting game. It just came out, it just started its Kickstarter less than a week ago, and it is a tabletop role-playing game with some traditional elements in that it has a traditional printed rule book. But then it comes in a black cube. So the black cube is literally this box that you buy. So you buy this black cube box, and then at that point, you actually use, there are a lot of materials in the box. There are cards, and the cards are round cards. Okay. There are like tokens and chips. There's a holder that holds one of the cards at a particular point. You know, it's really very unusual game. So it has more components than most tabletop role-playing games. It also has a board, almost exactly like what a board game would have. But that board has only like 7 or 8 different icons on the board. Very unusual, very unusual. Now here's the real kicker. Here is how this game is not like any game currently on the market. And the reason why this is not any game, it's not like any game currently on the market, is because it retails for $197, okay? Now, once in my lifetime, I bought the Warhammer Fantasy tabletop role-playing game. It came in a box that was 8 inches thick. It was the regular size of a tabletop role-playing game book, standard PHB, player handbook, if it was 8 inches thick, right? And it came with all these cards and all these tokens, and that cost $100, and I got that easily 5-10 years ago, right? The most expensive role-playing game I ever bought, and this is virtually twice that amount. So this is twice the price of any role-playing game I've ever bought, and I've bought over 100 role-playing games, right? So, one, I think this is brilliant. I'm an absolute fanboy when it comes to Monte Cook, generally, from the perspective of his rule systems. I think he is unparalleled when it comes to writing rules. He's the most innovative game designer working in tabletop role-playing games today. And the rule systems that he creates and that he works on and he oversees are absolutely brilliant, right? So I am very excited about Invisible Sun, but not for the game Invisible Sun. And the reason why is I'm excited about what Invisible Sun will do to the entire industry. And that's I think it's a little sad. I think what is happening with Monte Cook is he is making the best tabletop role-playing games that are out, but very, very few people are engaging with those games, right? Or really buying them and engaging with them. They don't really capture the zeitgeist. They don't really capture a lot of attention from the tabletop community, except for really, really dedicated Monte Cook fans. And the reason for that is, and Invisible Sun is 100% the same thing. The rule systems that Monte Cook builds are the very best there are. And the worlds that Monte Cook puts these rule systems in are absolutely, they're just not engaging to the general public, right? So what are the games he's created? He created Numenera. He created The Strange. Bruce R. Cordell wrote The Strange, but comes out from Monte Cook Games, so it's his game, really. And then there's a Cypher rule system, and now there's going to be Invisible Sun. Okay, now all of those games run off the Cypher rule system except Invisible Sun, which is going to have its own unique role-playing game system. Now, I do read a lot of games, and you could see the impact of what Monte Cook is doing. So I got Numenera. The rules absolutely blew me away. The world really did not engage me, and the reason why was it takes place literally like 10 or 20 million years in the future on Earth, right? And essentially it's a fantasy setting that takes away all gods and takes away and really has no real magic. So almost all magic in the game, it comes from nanotechnology and all these scientific sources, right? So it's like you're playing a fantasy game, but stripped of any magic, that's really strange, right? The game The Strange is a genre-bending game where genres meld into one another, right? And it had stuff about the Sumerian era and all these other. And it's very hard to understand the story or to really. It felt like it didn't really have a strong foundation in the story area. Now, the rules are absolutely, they're just peerless, right? The game master does not roll dice. The target number that you need to roll for almost anything in the game is 3 times the level of whatever you're dealing with. So if you're dealing a level 5 villain, you need to roll a 15 or above on a d20. Super simple, really elegant, really, really fast. A lot of tabletop role-playing games say that the game runs quickly. Monty Cook's games actually run quickly. They don't just claim it, right? So his games are really brilliant, right? Cipher rule system, spot on, perfect. I don't have and the reason why is Cipher rule system is a generic role-playing game system. You could take any world, like you could take Voltron, or you could take Star Wars, or you could take Star Trek, or Harry Potter, and you can be playing that game in 2 hours or less and have a blast. It is way better than GURPS. It's better than any generic role-playing game system ever created, without a doubt. Like, it's far, far better. It's so good that Cypher's been out for about a year, and I am running a Cipher rules system game, a Cipher system rule, using the Cipher system rulebook, where I'm actually running in the world of Shadowrun using the Cipher system rules. I absolutely love it. It's super fun, and I plan to park in that game for a while, right? I will run other campaigns, but I doubt, 6 months will go by without me running one campaign or another within the Cipher system rules, within Cipher system rules. I plan to be in that game for 5 years minimum. It is the best tabletop role-playing game I've seen since 5th edition. And it's definitely within my top 3 role-playing games of all times. It is absolutely the best. Invisible Sun, modern setting. It has to do with the occult, and it's really and the real world is just a shadow, and you're always trying to get to this other world from here, and and so. Again, very inaccessible story, right? So what I really would wish is that Monty Cook Games would just bring in a story person, or bring in several story people, and say, hey, let's get somebody who can really tell engaging stories that attract the masses, right? Now, if he wants to remain a boutique shop, I get that. That's okay, I get it. The other thing is, I think his politics are very strong, and his politics really show in his games. I think he's a little bit anti-religious, and you'll see this in his game. The theme of there are no gods is very, very strong. One of his games is called Gods of the Fall, right? And it's, really man is God. And so I think that's one of the other things that is, I read a lot about, so I'm an evangelical Christian, I read a lot about atheists and agnostics, and one of the things that they recognize is that their religion, their lack of a religion, their belief system is extremely unappealing, right? So it seems like Monty Cook has essentially attached atheism and agnosticism to his worlds, and I really think it's holding back his games, right? From mass appeal. It's possible that he wants it to be that way, like he's opened up a cupcake shop that is meant to be small and boutique and in Brooklyn, That might be what he's going for. I'm not positive, but I think that might be the case, right? So this, now, I thought about buying Invisible Sun, and I decided against it because one, I have a huge collection of role-playing games, and I did have a strong desire to buy this, but then I realized it would be completely unplayable for me. And the reason why is, when you have that many, I thought about it, and then the thing that really just made me decide, do not buy this game, is I would need 3 to 5 copies of this game, which means that it would cost $600 to $1,000 for me to play it, right? And the reason why is, the one thing that told me do not buy this game is round cards. Round cards. I play Magic the Gathering. I tell you right now, taking care of cards is extremely difficult. You don't want them to get bent, right? And it is outrageously difficult to take care of cards that are round. You can't buy sleeves for them unless you go to some really unusual places, and even then, they're going to slip out. There have been a few card games that have gotten away from the normal shape of a card, and they have all done horribly. There was a hex-based game, and that told me that all these components, I could not enjoy that game. And the reason why is, if I spent $200 on a role-playing game, and then I sat down to play it, I would not be able to focus on the story, because I'd be thinking, oh, is that dude gonna spill soda on that one round card that doesn't have a sleeve on it, and then I'm gonna freak out because the game's ruined. The game would become the game of trying to keep that game perfect, and it would drive me crazy. And so the idea of making a game like this with this many parts is just frightening. Now, I think it's great that he made this game. I was about to say, if I made more money than I do, I make a significant amount of money. I'm not poor, and even I think that's too expensive. Now the thing is, he was 100% right to make this game, and the reason why is the Cypher rule system is brilliant, and it's doing fine, and so are his other games. And Monty Cook is brilliant. He is an absolute genius. And he realizes that the tabletop role-playing game community is well-to-do and above, right? The vast majority of tabletop role-playing game fans make a good living, right? And so a luxury tabletop role-playing game is absolutely doable. And Monty Cook, that's not an opinion. That's already been objectively proven. The game is already, in less than a week, right, with a month to go, with like 3 more weeks to go, the game is already funded. It may do, $500,000 or even $1 million, right? And so it's already funded, and that's great, so I think I really like Monty Cook from his innovative style and the innovation that he works on it. And the other thing is, I guarantee, the same way the Cypher rule system has really impacted the tabletop role-playing game community from a rules perspective, all the guys who are writing, all the people, guys and gals out there that are writing tabletop role-playing games are actually, I think virtually all of them are reading Monty Cook's stuff, and so there's a huge impact on the rule systems of games that are coming from Monty Cook. And I think I feel a little bit sorry for Monty Cook in that I think he's on the bleeding edge. So Invisible Sun, they're gonna make it, they're gonna sell it, people are gonna have fun with it. It's gonna be a smaller group because that's a very high price tag, right? But the ideas that come out in that game are going to boil down into another system. So like, when he does the generic rule system for Invisible Sun, I will get that, the same way I did. Like, I bought Numenera, I did not play it, I did not like the world, and then when he brought out the Cypher rule system, which was the same game, just much more accessible and made available to the masses, I snapped that right up, right? And I think it's going to be the same thing with the Invisible Sun RPG. So what's going to happen is he's either going to make a more accessible version of that game and sell it at a lower price point, or the ideas from Invisible Sun will come out in a whole bunch of other tabletop role-playing game systems, and that's exciting to me. I really like the idea of seeing Invisible Sun, the game mechanics of it come out, right? I'm really curious if Monty Cook is going to figure this out, where if he's going to figure out that his attaching his politics and his personal beliefs on religion to each of the games that are coming out from that company are really, I really feel they are stopping it from becoming a mass product, right? And, I'm really curious if he's going to figure that out, if he's going to do something about it. The fact that he's bringing out Invisible Sun seems like he's really going to double down on that, which, it's really not my favorite part of his company. I really wish they'd get help for the worlds that they're building. There's nobody like it when it comes. There's nobody like them when it comes to rule systems, but their worlds are just not bad. They're not bad at all. I think they're written with a lot of care, and I think that the authors of those worlds are passionate about those worlds, but they're highly inaccessible to a mass market, right? And so, just kind of interesting. Invisible Sun, the Kickstarter's still up. If you are, I was about to say, if you have a good deal of expendable income, which, I feel like I do have a good deal of expendable income, and $200, it's really shocking to me, because I'm really thinking, wow, I love tabletop role-playing games. I have a significant amount of expendable. I have a little bit to spend, and even with that, it's too much. It's just too much. If it was, I will tell you right now, if this was a straight fantasy game, or if this was a space opera, or if this was anything but a game about going to parties in somebody else's mind and then returning to the real world, if it was any type of normal game, I think I might push through, like maybe sell some of my comic books or something, and push through and work to the idea of getting $200 for one game, but also, I've seen enough of the world to know that I'm not going to run it, and so that keeps me from saying, hey, I'm going to jump on that. But I highly encourage you, go out, take a look at the Kickstarter. If you have those kind of funds, I would definitely suggest purchasing it. And the reason why is I guarantee you are about to see, I truly believe this, people who buy Invisible Sun are about to see the most groundbreaking tabletop role-playing game rule system ever devised. Because, man, Cypher rule system is just brilliant, and this thing looks like it's just taking the innovation ratchet and cranking it back, right? And boy, just Monty Cook is so smart and comes at tabletop role-playing games from such an unusual perspective that it should be amazing to see what this is going to do. Take care, everybody.